So first off, I just want to say that Reed segment was pretty awesome, but it kind of made me bummed that he's going to be retiring. And it made me bummed that he's going to be retiring in a stadium with no fans. I don't know if he's bummed out about that or not, but I would be. Okay, Salt Lake City 5. I just want to say that I actually really liked this layout. The start being on the side of the stadium was pretty cool. I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty unique, and it caused 2 of the corners to be flat corners, which there was 3 flat corners on this track, which in Supercross, that doesn't really ever happen. So having 3 flat corners I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it made the racing pretty interesting, especially the one going into the finish, because it was a pretty cool passing opportunity, I think, with the way that you had to try to protect the inside, but still have a wide enough turning radius to make it fast. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I liked how they didn't form ruts because they would have to fix it in between motos so that the start was flat. But the track layout was cool. I liked it a lot. It made for some good racing, made for a really cool section, really cool couple of sections. I also really liked the left-hander before you go down the start straight, before that Dragon's back thing. I don't think they fixed the ruts once the whole night, which made the ruts in the end of the 450 main. It was pretty gnarly, and it was cool to see how everybody went through it. Seemed like most riders were going through it without putting their inside foot out, and Tomac was going through it standing up. And I think that's something that can be incorporated into your own riding. Don't be afraid to try to go through a corner without putting your foot out. Sometimes it's a lot faster, especially in a section like that, where you had to stand up really, really quickly to get over that Dragon's back. If you have your foot out, then you have to worry about getting your foot on the peg before you can stand up. And just that little bit of time that it takes to put your foot on the foot peg before standing up is going to make you have to slow down before that Dragon's back. So if your feet are already on the pegs, makes it so you can stand up faster, be able to go into the Dragon's back faster, or in Tomac's case, just don't sit down. I guess. But there's sections like that on all different types of tracks, outdoor tracks, whatever. If you need to stand up really quickly coming out of a corner, then try doing the corner without putting your foot out. Something you can learn from these guys. We should probably talk about racing though, eh? In 250s, the heat races were awesome. I'm not going to talk about those. In the main, Ferrandis finally got a start, but he actually didn't do anything with it. This was the one rare instance where he wasn't the fastest person on the track. He might have been, but I don't think so. I mean, I guess there's a chance that he could have been, because he said he rolled a jump, I guess, because of a flag. He didn't know if it was a red cross flag or not, I guess. So he rolled it, and that's what let Forkner get back up to him. Forkner might have not been the fastest one on the track, but it kind of seemed like he was. So when it comes down to the championship, the 3 riders in the championship, Justin Cooper, he's out of it. I think he's got a problem with pressure. I think it was MX Nation. It was his rookie year's first ever national, and his trainer, Gareth Swanepoel, was telling him that he needs to eat something. But obviously at his first national, he had a lot of nerves, and it was jacking with his stomach. I have the same problem, so I fully understand it. Wasn't able to eat anything, and he lost a lot of energy that day. And I wonder if nerves and pressure still kind of gets to him, especially in Supercross where he's not a specialist. I think in outdoors he's more comfortable, I would guess, because he's insanely fast there. So I just wonder if these last few rounds, if the pressure is getting to him, if the nerves are getting to him, and he's just not performing where he should be. That's what it kind of seems like to me. Maybe he needs a riding coach, a mental coach, I don't know. But that's what it seems to me. I could be completely wrong. He could be physically not all there. I have no idea. But that's my take on it. And then we saw an epic battle between Jett Lawrence and his brother, but mostly Jett Lawrence, Cameron McAdoo, and Michael Mosiman. That was awesome. Mosiman kind of screwed himself trying to pass Lawrence before the finish. So yeah, I like that section because crazy things happen. But he pushed too hard trying to pass Lawrence, and the bike stood up, and then McAdoo got around him too. But those 3, they're almost there. They're going to be battling next year 100% for the championship. But this year, they're just not quite there. But Lawrence, he is so gnarly. He is the youngest of those three, and he's only 16. Got his first ever podium. At 16 years old, I was still in the C class. So he is the future of this sport, I think. His brother is still finding his footing, I think, in Supercross. And outdoors, he's going to be super gnarly. And I think next year in Supercross, he'll be better. But right now, it's only his second one, so he's just trying to find his footing. Did he get invited to Vegas? Did he get invited to the shootout, the last round? They were talking about that he needed good showing. What, does he need top 20? Let me just look at this. If he needs to be top 20 in points, that sucks because he's 23rd. I don't know how that all works. I don't know if he got invited or not to the shootout, but if I was to guess, he did not, which is a bummer. But then he can just start getting ready for outdoors, I guess. But now with Justin Cooper not performing where he needs to be, it's a 2-horse race. It is between Forkner and Ferrandis. Forkner this race was riding way more aggressively than he normally does, which I liked to see. Ferrandis is normally the super aggressive one and Forkner is the smooth one. Well, they were both riding super aggressive. They both want to win this championship really badly. Forkner especially, since he definitely should have won the championship last year, but he was just stupid in the whoops, and that's obviously still haunting him because he still sucks in the whoops, but he was good today. But they were first and second. Ferrandis got the whole shot, and Forkner was, fourth or fifth? And then Forkner made his way up to him, which I was super surprised about because I thought Ferrandis was just going to pull away because he's normally the fastest one on the track, but not today. Forkner was right there with him and even caught him in the beginning. And then they were kind of, one rider would be faster one lap, then the other would be faster. I think those flat corners had a lot to do with it. It was really easy to make a mistake and just slide a little bit too much, and it was really hard to get traction. So if you didn't get those two corners right, you're going to lose a lot of time. And then whatever happened with the flags, they didn't show it. Forkner got back up to Ferrandis and then made a sick pass, super aggressive, and it was exactly the type of passes that Ferrandis was making earlier in the year. So Ferrandis was upset about that, which I think he said he was fine with it. He shouldn't be because he does that to everybody. I do think Forkner wanted to put him on the ground, but he just wasn't quite close enough. If you want to put somebody on the ground when you take them out, you got to take the front wheel out. That's the easiest way to do it. But if you come and you hit them and you're perfectly even with each other, they're probably not going to go down, especially if you're the smaller rider hitting the bigger rider. So hit him off the track. Ferrandis lost a bunch of time, gave Forkner a bunch of breathing room, which was good because Ferrandis was trying to push to get back up to him, and he gained a little bit of time, but it wasn't enough, and Forkner got the win. Now we go back to East Coast, and then we have the shootout, and that's where things can get interesting because he's 7 points behind now. He's 7 points behind now. There is a 6-point difference between first and third, if I'm correct. I don't know. Oh, third gets 21, so there's a 5-point difference. Okay, so there's a 7-point difference between first and fourth. Who's won more rounds? So Ferrandis has won 1, 2, 3. Forkner's won 1, 2, 3, 4. So what Forkner needs to win. He needs McElrath and Sexton to be second and third, and Ferrandis fourth. Because then they will tie for the points lead, but Forkner will have more wins and he'll get the championship. I think that is possible. That's more than possible next weekend for that all to happen. But, I mean, it's got to be like a perfect storm for that to happen. This could be interesting. 250s for the shootout. This is awesome. 450s, not so much. Tomac's got a huge lead. But 250s, both of the championships are still alive, and I'm stoked about that. 450s, I guess. Did Roczen get the whole shot? I can't remember who actually got the whole shot, but Webb was in first. Oh, Webb got the whole shot because he tried to take Tomac out on the start. Webb's in desperation mode now. We've seen it in years past. This happens every year. When the championship gets down to the end, whoever's second in points, they become a little desperate and they start doing things they normally wouldn't do. And Webb would normally not take somebody out on the start, but if Tomac's there, Webb's going to try to put him on the ground. And putting somebody on the ground on the start is not the best way to do it. You got to do it on like lap 2 or 3 maybe, Because if you put him down on the start, everybody's still bunched up, and Tomac can still get through the pack plenty easily. But in lap like 3, when things are spread out a little more, if you put him on the ground, it's going to take him a bit to get up, and they're going to be really far back, and it's going to be a little bit harder to actually pass into the front. If Tomac's there, Webb's going to hit him. I'm telling you now, these last 2 rounds, if Webb is anywhere near Tomac, he will hit him. So I'm just warning you, if you're a Tomac fan, or if you are a Webb fan, if Webb is near Tomac, he will hit him. But Roczen made the sickest pass ever into first. Jumped into that rut on the inside and then went through it, I think, faster than anybody did all night. And he was like in and out so fast. I don't think you could go through that rut any faster. Maybe Stewart could have. I don't know. But Roczen got into the lead, and I was just waiting. I was like, oh no. Halfway came, and I was like, here it comes. Webb was staying about 3.5 seconds back the whole time. 5 minutes to go. Still there. 2 laps to go. Webb tried to make a little push, but I don't know what happened. He made a mistake and lost like a whole second in the half of a lap. Don't know what happened there. But he did it. Whatever's going on with Roczen, it has to suck. He said that his bike setup he changed something and it was really good. I'm of the opinion that Roczen can only perform well if his bike setup is perfect. If his bike setup isn't perfect and he has to fight the bike, he's just not quite strong enough to do that. He's not like a Tomac or something where he can fight the bike and be just fine at the end of the moto. Even with a perfect setup, with whatever viral infection he's got going on and shingles on top of it, it doesn't matter if he has a perfect bike setup. He's gnarly. Has there ever been a 450 winner that had shingles? I want to say no. But I'm a little premature talking about Roczen because I haven't talked about Webb or Tomac yet. So Webb didn't seem perfectly comfortable out there. He kind of seemed like he was just a little bit off of his normal pace. I don't think he likes really slick tracks. And this was a slick track. This was a lot like the first Salt Lake round, especially with the flat tracking corners. Those were super slick. He seemed to be a little off pace all day, and I thought 100% Tomac would catch him once Tomac got into third. He didn't. And that was weird. He was catching him, and then like he said on the podium, about halfway through, something about being uncomfortable in the whoops, and he wished that he would have seen that the left side was better a little earlier because he saw that late into the main. This is the champion mentality that Tomac is. I mean, he has it because he's won 3 championships in outdoors, but he hasn't won a championship in Supercross, and that's a little different. Things can turn really quickly in Supercross. You can go from having a decent, okay night to wadding yourself and being out for the rest of the season. And I think he realizes that. So when he felt a little uncomfortable, instead of just going balls to the wall, trying to get up to the front to win, like he's been doing, he backed off a little bit. He was okay with third. And I think it's that point in the season now. He's got, a 24-point lead or something like that. He can do that. He can ride like Dungey. He can be okay with getting a third. He can be okay with getting a second. He can probably be okay with getting 4th or 5th even. I think with 2 rounds left, he would have to have just some catastrophic thing happen for him to not win this. And he knows that. He definitely knows that. So he's okay with backing off a little bit, which is crazy. Tomac, has he ever done that? Has he ever backed off? I guess now that I think about that, in outdoors in like the last round, for example, when Hurlings showed up to Ironman and everybody thought those two were going to battle it out, but Tomac was just trying to win the championship and he got like barely a top 10. It's the same thing. So Tomac, he's got this under control. He's going to win. If he doesn't win this championship, I will be surprised. I was going to say I will do something, but no, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, now that I've talked about Webb and Tomac, I could talk about Roczen. I already said pretty much everything I need to say. He's a gnarly dude. Riding with shingles, where Ralph said that the Alpine Star medic doctor dude said that it feels like somebody's burning your nerve endings. That's like pretty hardcore. And if that's what Roczen's feeling, and he won a 450 Supercross main, he's a gnarly dude. I mean, with what he went through, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. Dude's gnarly. What more can I say? There isn't more that I could say. Cool that Reed tied his best finish again this season. He's done it back-to-back now, 2/11s. That's awesome. Anderson getting caught in Freese's back wheel and just standing there looking at Freese while Freese was trying to go wide open with his bike stuck in between his wheel and his rear fender. That was pretty funny. Anything else crazy happen? I don't think so. One thing I will say, this start that's on the side of the stadium, they should keep doing that at least once a year, because that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. It made them have to do a way different track layout, and I'm always game for that. So Dirtworks, build another track with a start on the side next year, and that would be cool. 2 more rounds. That's it. 2 more rounds of this 2020 Supercross season, and we're in June. How weird is that? Supercross in June. We should be having outdoors right now. Outdoors aren't even going to start till July. And they're going to start in Indiana and then go to Florida in July. That is dumb. There's going to be a ton of not just riders, but spectators that are going to get a heat stroke, I think. I'm not okay with them having a Florida National in July. That's just asking for something bad to happen. Should knock on wood, because that would suck if something did happen that was bad. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for the 1,000 subs. I put out my video. I will be going through my subscriptions to take names off of it so I can put them on my bike. So hopefully you guys did that, because the deadline's passed, because when this comes out, it'll be Monday. But hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you on probably Thursday after the next race. Yeah. Bye.